Time now for another In the Legal Know with Vincent J. Russo. And today Vincent is here to talk about revocable living trusts, which many people have set up as part of their estate plan. Now, these trusts can offer several potential benefits, including avoiding probate, maintaining privacy, and providing for incapacity. And today, Vincent has very important information, what you need to know and do after you establish a revocable living trust. Welcome back, Vincent. Very important information, like I said.
Thrilled to be here.
First of all, just tell us what it is, a revocable living trust.
Sure. A revocable living trust is a legal agreement which allows you to manage and distribute your assets during your lifetime and after you pass away. What's great is that it can be changed at any time. That's why it's revocable. So you can update it, modify it, terminate it. And the assets that you place in the trust avoid probate. So the probate is that legal process that when someone passes away, the will, or if there's no will, an estate administration needs to be commenced in the surrogate's court. There's a whole process. And you avoid all of that by having your assets in a revocable living trust.
Revocable, I said it wrong.
No, you can say it either way, tomato or tomato.
Phew, thank you.
You're good.
Okay. Now, what assets go into a revocable living trust?
Yeah, and that's where I wanted to focus today, was on funding.
Okay.
Because you can fund it up front with all the assets you want to put in, or you could do it over time, but you have to do it properly. So let's look at some of the assets that are typically funded in a revocable living trust. First, real estate. So you own a home, you can transfer the home into the trust. How do you do that? It's a deed. An attorney would draft a new deed, transferring it from your name into the name of the trust. You can move your bank accounts into the trust. Here, you got to go to the bank and you got to follow their procedures. There's no one way of doing it. Now, you would be opening up a new account. It's not like you can just change the name of your existing account. So that could be your savings account, could be your checking account. If you have investments, a brokerage account, same situation. You go to the financial institution and you follow their procedures and you open up a new brokerage account in the name of the trust. And then personal property, jewelry, furniture, photographs, that can be done through a legal assignment. So the lawyer can draft a document, very simple document that says, I'm transferring all my personal property into the trust.
Okay, so that would be what you would transfer typically.
Correct.
What would you not transfer typically?
Okay, so here's a big warning. Do not transfer your qualified retirement accounts, your IRA or your 401k, into your revocable living trust. Why? Because if you transfer those assets, it causes an income tax on that IRA and the 401k. So you don't want to pay tax on all that money because you transferred it from the account in your name and you transferred it to the revocable living trust. So that would stay outside, but it still can avoid probate because you can name a beneficiary on your IRA or 401k plan. The other is automobiles. You can technically transfer a car into a trust. It gets a little more complicated and with the insurance and everything. Often you can transfer a car through the Department of Motor Vehicle when someone passes away to go to next of kin. So you have to look at that. I tend to recommend staying away from transferring cars into a trust. Also, if you get in a car accident, all the trust assets are available and when a claim is made against you.
Okay, you just talked about taxes a lot. Are there other tax implications that we got to worry about?
Good question. And so taxes are really simple here. When you have a revocable living trust, you're the owner for income tax purposes. So you use your Social Security number as the tax ID. There's no tax return for the trust, and all the income just gets reported on your income tax return. For estate tax purposes, it's included in your estate. So if you have more significant assets, you probably want to do more planning with irrevocable living trusts that can save estate taxes, not revocable living trusts.
Irrevocable will be on another day. We'll stick with this one. What about, it sounds like, and I'm sure I'm wrong, that if I have this, I would not need a will.
Right, and that would be a mistake.
I would think so. I make a lot of those.
No, because you would also want to have a will. I call it belt and suspenders. So you would want to have a will because if you have an asset outside the trust and don't name a beneficiary, you need the will to control where it goes. So what we typically do is recommend a pour over will. It's a will that's very simple, and it says, if I have an asset outside the trust, pour it over into the trust when I pass away, and then the trust will direct where everything goes.
Okay.
So have a pour over will, but better yet, make sure you transfer all the assets that you want into the trust and avoid probate completely.
Other tips that you could give us on this?
Sure. So funding the trust is number one. That's the number one tip. And then I would recommend that you seek professional guidance. Here, you set up the trust. You would want to stay in touch with the attorney. Make sure you're properly handling the assets, transferring them in the way that's permitted under the trust document. Life events can change, so you would want to review and update the trust from time to time. And that's the beauty of a revocable trust. You can do that at any time.
Yeah, don't do it, just leave it. Keep looking at it, updating, because life changes. Common mistakes, people that you see?
Yeah, three I'd like to touch on. One is not properly funding the trust. So you think you are leaving all the assets a certain way under the trust document, but then if you don't put all the assets in, they go a different way, and that can be a problem. A trust that's not clearly written as to purpose and giving parameters of who the beneficiaries are, when the assets are distributed, that's a common mistake with revocable living trusts. You know, the online forms may not cover everything that they should. And then last, there's no Medicaid asset protection. So for seniors, if they're filing for Medicaid, because they have this trust, it's counted as their assets for eligibility purposes.
Okay, and as always, you have so much information on your website. It is
vjrussolaw.com.
Please go there because there is so much there. And Vincent, we appreciate it. Well, we're so happy you have all that information for us. And next time we'll talk about, not next time, but soon, irrevocable.
Yes, we'll tackle that one.
We'll tackle that one.
Okay.
Vincent, thank you.
Great.